Mapping Armaggedon. Earth's looming tsunamis and mega-quakes. As villagers along the Sunda Strait were finishing their meals on the evening of 22nd of December last year, they had no idea of the cataclysmic event that awaited them. After bubbling on and off for months, the active volcano of Anak Krakatoa erupted, triggering a 0.3 km³ sized chunk of rock to plunge into the unusually deep waters off the coast of Indonesia's West Java and South Sumatra regions. The resulting tsunami, which hit the coast just minutes after the landslide, killed 437 people and injured 30,000 more. The killer wave was the most recent of a geological phenomenon that has led to around 250,000 deaths in the last 2 decades alone. And it won't be the last. According to David Tappan, a marine geologist at the British Geological Society who has spent years examining the causes of tsunamis, there are at least 40 active volcanoes next to oceans around the world that could be potential Anak Krakatoas. One of the aspects of events such as Anak Krakatoa is that we are now aware of a hazard hovering in the background, and there are millions of people who live adjacent to volcanoes, he said on the sidelines of the European Geosciences Union in Vienna this week. But I don't think anyone has actually looked at the particular hazard those people have except from eruptions. Suddenly, we are aware of this threat of tsunamis, and hopefully we will do something about it. Volcanoes still little understood. Tappan and his team have for the first time modeled in minute detail what happens when a volcanic landslide triggers a tsunami. When the rock slipped from Anak Krakatoa, it fell into a submarine trough of unusual depth, around 220 meters, 720 feet. This triggered multiple, large waves that hit coastlines quickly, with the second or third waves the highest. Tappan said that there was currently no system to warn civilians of events like the Anak Krakatoa landslide. Warning systems in all the world's oceans are predicated on large earthquakes, he said. Volcanoes are still little understood. Anak Krakatoa is really important because suddenly we have an event we can study. Magnitude 10 quake stash. The website of the United States Geological Survey states confidently that mega-quakes, those of magnitude 10 or more, cannot happen. Indeed, the strongest quake on record measured 9.6 on the Richter scale, and there have only been 5 quakes stronger than 9 in the last 100 years. It was long assumed that the tectonic makeup of Earth made magnitude 10 earthquakes planetarily impossible. The plates upon which lands and ocean lie aren't big enough to provoke such a mega-quake. But a new analysis based on cutting-edge data suggests otherwise. Álvaro González, a researcher of the Center for Mathematical Research in Barcelona, Spain, found that so-called subduction zones, parts of the Earth where one tectonic plate gets pushed deeper towards the mantle by another, could trigger a 10.4 magnitude quake. And they happen on average every 2,000 years. Such events would produce especially large tsunamis and long-lasting shaking which would affect distant locations, González said. Global event stash. There is another way to cause a mega-quake on Earth, of course. 66 million years ago, a space rock up to 80 kilometers, 50 miles, across slammed into what is modern-day Mexico, triggering tsunamis, planetary shaking and volcanic eruptions that killed off the dinosaurs and rendered 3/4 of all species on Earth extinct. González said that several more recent, albeit much smaller, asteroid impacts had provoked impact shaking events. By analyzing existing asteroid telemetry data, he calculated that shaking events larger than 10.5 magnitude from an impact happen once every 10 million years on average. There are only very few people who have tried to simulate something like that, he said. For really large earthquakes, 10.5 or larger, those are global events. The Mexico impact simulations show that there were several meters of amplitude of ground motion worldwide, and especially near the impact and on the antipodes, the corresponding point on the other side of the globe. Both Tappan and González said existing tsunami warning systems didn't offer sufficient protection for waves triggered by potential eruptions and mega-quakes. Referring to the Anak Krakatoa event, Tappan said it demonstrates yet again the lack of preparedness of countries threatened by tsunamis and highlights the urgent need for better mitigation and warning.